Follow us on Twitter at twitter.com/achieveradio.
What a beautiful day to be alive. My debt is paid and more money arrives. The fridge is full and there's plenty of ice for a fireside chat with anyone I like. What a beautiful day, good to be here, when almost everyone has disappeared. When almost everyone is waiting in line, it's good to meet you in this world of mine.
Welcome, everybody. We are live with Dr. Carolyn Dean here on achieveradio.com. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in here in the United States and those who are tuning in from Canada, from Australia, from South Africa, from England, from really all over the world. We're so thrilled that you're with us this evening, and I'm so personally thrilled. Let me tell you what I'm happy about. I'm happy about the fact that you get to listen to, and, if you want to, talk to Dr. Carolyn Dean. This woman makes a difference with every single person she encounters, even if she doesn't mean to. Just her presence alone is valuable enough and powerful enough and expressive enough to shift anybody's thoughts, their reality, their beingness, their health, their wellness, anything. I've seen her do it. I've seen her do it in grocery stores and on, planes and in factories. I mean, she's just got an amazing presence, and I'm so grateful that it comes right through our computers, our chip bodies into your world and lands on YouTube. Because I'm telling you what today, people need a little bit of encouragement, people. I'm telling you about what is possible for you in this crazy, hepped-up world right now. And you know who knows what's possible is Dr. Dean. And one of the reasons why she knows is through the process of elimination and her own mental prowess. She has eliminated so many ridiculous theories and ideas and concepts and silliness, and she's gotten down to the grits and gravy, the most practical things that you can do for your body, mind, and spirit, and also, just great ways to navigate with your health, your lifestyle, and even how to be with each other in relationships. We're so happy to have her here this evening. I want to let you know. And, by the way, God only knows what will come up, what we'll discuss. We talk about everything. We talk about magnesium minerals. We talk about the formulas. We talk about the body-mind connection. We'll talk about total biology. Who knows? Carolyn's husband, Bob, joins us on the show, and he jumps on and says some stuff sometimes. I mean, you cannot even tell what's going to happen in the next 2 hours. So stick with us. And before I bring her on, I just want to let you know that not only is she a medical doctor and a naturopath, but she's got credentials, people. Let me tell you, her CVV, her own personal credentials and her work experience is 125 pages long. So we won't beat the bush about that. But I will tell you that she's here talking as a friend, as a person who has a lot of expertise, and as a person who's interested in your health and well-being, and certainly not going to give any medical advice. No, would not do that. But she's going to tell you her opinion, people. She's going to tell you her opinion, and that's what's important, because she's a knower. She is a knower. All right, everybody, thank you so much for joining us again. And without any further ado, this evening, I will bring on our very own most lovely, bright, and buoyant Dr. Carolyn Dean.
Thank you, Ginny. And as every week approaches, Bob dials me into the show, and then as soon as you start talking, he goes into the kitchen and starts making noise. What am I going to do,
no.
Ginny? Yeah, every week. It's like clockwork. It's like, okay, my job is to get Carolyn on the show. Now I have to go and eat my restructure. But that means I have to wash my spoon. I don't know what I'm going to do. I'll just have to take more magnesium, I guess.
That's right. More magnesium. That's exactly right. Very good. I agree. And how have you been, my love?
I've been great. Really, yeah, it's wonderful. But I am getting concerned about people because they're suffering so much. And I think your blog this week, boosting brain power, that's going to be important. I want you to talk about our webinars that we've been putting out more information. I came across some Facebook threads where people have just given up. They just are so sick and it's over for them. And, how do you reach these people where they think it's that they've bought their last product and they still are waiting for the doctors to come up with a drug for them. And maybe they don't even have the energy to listen to our show or read all the information I have, but we really want you to use your brain, and we'll talk about how magnesium affects the brain, so that you can learn about, read about, hear about, understand what's going on with your own personal body, and then make your decision about what to do about it. And we do try to make it as easy peasy as possible without just coming right out and patting you on the head and saying, take these, or telling you, well, we'll pay for all your products until you die. Just take them. I mean, what do we have to do to get people to acknowledge their own health, do a bit of reading, research, even just calling our customer service, and then doing their own experiment? So, I mean, that's kind of my theme for today. So let's talk about our webinars first, Jenny. What have we done so far?
Hey, Carolyn, just wanted to say, it's not your job to save the world. As much as you're capable of it, you have to remember that we don't give a damn. They're all idiots out there, and they're lucky if they get smart. All right? Just remember that.
And in the opposing camp?
Yes, they become the opposing opposition.
That's right. There's the psychic Aikido expert coming in from the dojo, Bob, ready to lay us on with some psychic Aikido and take us in a completely opposite direction.
Right.
Very good, Bob.
Thank you, Bob.
I mean, Carolyn is cursed by her success. It's a traditional term, hamartia. The tragic flaw. The hero has a talent, but it backfires. Carolyn has a talent to save the world, but it can become a disservice for her if she doesn't watch it. So don't get too upset, Carolyn, what's going on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I do think it's appropriate to be compassionate. I mean, I don't think Carolyn's going to, doing any Harry Carey or whatever if she can't get there. I just think, when you do read about the futility of where people are in their level of pain, and also the futility of their minds, having been bamboozled by many and been told inaccurate information by many quote-unquote authoritarians, that when Carolyn does sweep through in all of her glory, that sometimes people are not able to even hear anymore because they're just exhausted from the over-information, Bob, as you know, and you've taught us well. So there are those factors, to pay attention to.
Yeah, Carolyn's getting emails of suffering all the time, and that's even screened. She'd get a lot more if you guys didn't screen it. So her daily diet, I don't get emails from people pleading, Bob, I'm dying, help me. She gets that, so that's naturally going to make her want to do something for them. But she also likes the fact that she's not known. And a recent phenomenon has come out, and it helps Carolyn to continue being anonymous. I don't know if we're allowed to talk about that, Carolyn?
Yeah, go ahead. I mean, I wasn't going to bring it up, but if you're going to bring it up.
It's interesting. Somebody put together a list of the top 50 alternative doctors, okay? And, of course, Carolyn's not on it. But Carolyn told me, look, there's about 5 people here. I had to correct them. I mean, Carol's so beyond their stratosphere that she corrects half of the ones that are on there. But they don't know to put her on the list, which Carolyn sort of likes because she doesn't want that kind of attention. But that's where people are at a disadvantage. They're going to be real lucky if they find out about Carolyn.
I do agree about that. I do think that people are very fortunate if they encounter her, which is what I said at the beginning of the show, and I agree with you 100%. And she's not a marketer. and a flim-flam person or whatever, and I know what list you're talking about, Bob, and a lot of those people on there are just Instagram geniuses, which is how they get into places like that and end up on those kinds of lists. If you looked at the bottom line, the most fundamental impact that any one of those people could have possibly had on the overall status of health in the world, I don't think any of them could even touch the surface of what Carolyn's done, simply because they have not made it their public and private proclamation about the importance of magnesium. And not only that, I thought you were going to say that Carolyn was quoted. Carolyn is quoted in more articles. She is misquoted. Her image is violated in more ways than I can even imagine. And we encounter it all the time because her information is so in demand that people just take it, swipe it, copy and paste it as though it's theirs. And it's just absurd what happens. So, yes.
Well, hey, Ginny. People like to fantasize there's an Illuminati. If anybody's an Illuminati, it's Carolyn. She's a secret society who is the most influential person in medicine on the planet on many levels.
Yeah,
who is sitting here right in front of everybody, available.
Well, I agree with that, and that's why people do call into the show. That's why they're interested in listening, and that's what they want to do. They want to be able to capitalize on being able to get Carolyn's information and her insight, which is abundant, without having to be intervened upon or intruded upon by the masses. So that's why we're over here in our very quaint little corner with people holding from Kansas and Connecticut and all the sea to shining sea. And we all love being here together. So, but I agree with you. I don't think anybody has, any concerns about how awesome and amazing Carolyn is. So I don't think she's going to get overworked with her compassion either. I think she's going to be okay.
All right, so there you have it, Carolyn. You're okay.
I'm okay. Thank you, Julie.
Play the little kids. Oh, those little kids, they like Carolyn. Play that little
Oh, wait a minute. Here they are.
Yeah, and we don't care how much we sound like a cult or exaggerating. We know it's true. We don't care what you fucking think of us.
Uh-oh.
Okay. We don't care if you're looking. You go to our website and there's an FDA warning and you go, oh, I'm not going in there. That's FDA shit. And you miss going into
for offending people.
Mm-hmm.
It's only not for unhealthy people, not people who are sick, not people who got all these problems.
We're not here to cure anything. We're not here to help anything. We're not trying to do anything. We're not trying to make you happy. We're not trying to prove your happiness. We're not trying to see that you're whether or not you're happy. We are not here that this product was not created for your benefit, for your pleasure, or for your enjoyable delightment. It's not for that. It's only for the ascending.
There you go, Bob.
Okay, Bob.
That's the most beautiful statement ever.
Okay, mute yourself, Bob. Thank you for the musical interlude. I appreciate it. Now let's get to work.
Yeah. We have been working. Just telling people about you is work.
Mute.
Yeah.
Mute. Okay, so Carolyn, where we were going to talk about was the blogs, right? The webinars. I'm sorry. The webinars that we've done so far, and by the way, if you've missed any of these and you're not on our mailing list, you can just email me at support, SUPPORT, @rnareset.com. And I can send you the link to our webinars, and you can check them out. Or you go directly yourself to now I just got that wrong. So hold on, don't do that. Just email me at support @rnareset.com, and I'll send you the webinar information. We have done... Well, our first webinar was on the total body reset. That was the first one. And then we did the one on the thyroid. Then we did one on the labyrinth of the mind. Then we did one on all the diets, where you went over all the diets and different things and what were good and positive and powerful about different approaches to dieting. And I think that we've gotten, and then we also did a exercise webinar, healthy approach to exercise.
And we did fibromyalgia.
And we did, fibromyalgia is coming up.
No, really? No. Oh, my God.
Right?
No, I'm preparing one right now. Let me look what I'm doing. We did fibromyalgia. We've had a lot of response on Facebook. I'm doing detox.
Oh gosh, that's right. We did. I don't know what world I'm in, Lord.
And I don't know if we ever got. I don't know that we ever got to Labyrinth of the Mind because we wanted to throw. Yeah?
We did. Yeah,
okay.
We did. Remember, we did the Labyrinth of the Mind because we had 20 options and we cut it to 10. Topical. We did do it.
I don't even remember. I mean, this is
the
thing.
Hilarious.
I would think, oh yeah, we did 2 or 3, and you're saying we did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and number 7's coming up. It's crazy, amazing.
Yeah, Carolyn, I know you did Labyrinth of the Mind because I said, that's one I better listen to because Carolyn's not qualified to do the mind. That's my field. So I know I had concern, but I didn't even get around to listening to it. But you did do it. I remember.
Okay. Very good, Bob. Thank you for your input. Oh boy. Okay, so we've done the webinars, and how we approach them is we put it out to our blog, our email and blog list, and have people register, and we do kind of limit the first registration because we want to be able to answer questions. That's the whole thing, is to give people access to the answers, and then we open it up to everybody, but you just can't get your questions answered live. And I have fun doing them. Jenny has fun. Chad has fun. And it's a lot of good information. And, yes, of course, we're talking about our products, and it's very interesting because everything we talk about, the basis is going to be our products. I've been working on trying to create some simplified protocol for people for 45 or so years, and this is the result, the completement formula. So that's our focus, is giving people simple instructions to follow a simple protocol for the basis of all chronic disease. And I think what's happening as we reach out more into the greater population, some people just don't believe us. And perhaps this latest blog that Jenny sent out that brought you to this radio show today about boosting your brain power, maybe people don't understand how important magnesium is for that. What Jenny has done is taken excerpts from the Magnesium Miracle and just showing everyone who's forgotten what they read in my Magnesium Miracle book, that increasing magnesium intake is a valid strategy to enhance cognitive abilities. There's a lot of research and speculation about magnesium deficiency and how it can impair cognitive. What I gathered for the latest edition of Magnesium Miracle, stroke. The U.S. population is deficient in magnesium, and it's at greater risk for stroke with severe post-stroke complications. This can be poor recovery from head injury, escalating neurological damage. Lack of magnesium can enhance neurotoxin damage from vast numbers of chemicals in our air, food, and water. Brain trauma. Higher magnesium levels are associated with a better recovery, and giving magnesium will create a better healing outcome. IV magnesium sulfate significantly reduces brain edema following brain injury and is used to treat patients with severe traumatic brain injury without adverse effects. This is crucial information to give your doctor if your child suffers a head injury or any family members involved in a motor vehicle accident. Good neurosurgeons give IV magnesium to all their surgical patients. Then I go on to talk about diuretics drying out the brain. I won't read all the words. You can go to drcarolyndeanlive.com to see this latest blog. You can read the book, the different sections in the book. I tell people get the Kindle and the print book. So on the Kindle, you can search out even just words that you want to learn about. If diuretics is something you want to learn about associated with magnesium deficiency, you can just search in your Kindle. Aging, French magnesium researcher in the early 1900s was convinced that the aging body tissues have 3 times more calcium than magnesium, so we're calcifying ourselves into aging. Memory, MIT research talked about particular brain receptors important for learning and memory depend on magnesium for their regulation. And of late, this magnesium threonate, trademarked, a patented product actually came out with a study saying that it was the best magnesium for the brain, got into the spinal column. But when you read their paper in detail, it showed that this particular magnesium threonate had only a 7% increase in the amount of magnesium compared to another magnesium that they were testing. So, everybody's out there selling their magnesium, but I guess basically you have to try the various magnesiums and see how much they help you. Fear, MIT researchers found that increasing the concentration of magnesium and reducing the background level of noise. Bob, mute yourself. We can hear you.
I'm coming in.
Well, keep yourself muted.
No, I want to say something. You're listing off, not you, it's not your opinion. These are other studies showing the benefits, medicinal, illegal benefits.
No, stop it. I'm just showing the research for the magnesium deficiency that is created and causing problems. We're only allowed to talk about us helping the structure and function of the body according to magnesium being deficient in the body.
And you're citing studies that do that say that.
Yeah.
And they're not talking about helping disease.
Well, they may be, but we're not.
Yes, I mean, you're quoting, this is not your opinion.
I'm not even allowed to say that, so please stop bringing it up, Bob.
Well, I'll just say this final thing then. Are you allowed to say it's not magnesium? You're leading toward that in your last sentence. It's remag deficiency. Can you go that far?
No, that's totally commercial.
Oh, okay. Forget I said that then.
Yeah, let the judge and jury step back.
I'm in the wrong court. Sorry, I should be over in the Gary Null section.
Yeah,
Sorry.
Yeah. Okay. In English, the statement about fear simply means that magnesium reduces the physical reaction to fear, which can only be a good thing. Then there's a section treating telomeres or telomeres. Telomere is an essential part of chromosomes that affects how our cells age. Telomeres are the caps at the end of chromosomes that protect them from unraveling or getting attached to another chromosome. The current research on aging is firmly tied up with telomeres. It should come as no surprise that magnesium is tightly wrapped up with telomeres, but the real shock is how few researchers are focusing on the miracle of magnesium and keeping telomeres from unraveling. Instead, they're looking for drugs or formulating expensive supplements to save the telomeres, ignoring the solution that's right before their eyes. Even Alzheimer's and Parkinson's, there's evidence that magnesium deficiency can trigger or worsen Alzheimer's disease and Parkinson's disease. Now, I shouldn't be talking about that, but in terms of the diseases, but if you're magnesium deficient and are experiencing symptoms that are being misdiagnosed as these conditions, wouldn't you rather treat the magnesium deficiency before being treated for these diseases? So the Alzheimer's and Parkinson's, I say, are the neurological equivalent of heart disease. And I say both heart and brain are excitable tissues that give off electrical energy, and both must have magnesium. Now, we got a couple of blog questions after that. Ginny sent out the blog. gentleman asks, how does magnesium affect the state of telomeres or telomeres? And have there been any studies conducted that show increased magnesium intake slowed the deleterious effect or even reversed it? If so, can you please provide reference to study? Now listen to this, Jenny. I think this is what got to me this week. This gentleman said, I recently got a telomere analysis conducted, and it concluded that my cellular age is 64, even though my biological age is 48. This has me concerned and doesn't make sense to me since I'm fit and eat quite healthy. I started taking Dr. Dean's Remag 2 months ago and would like to have that telomere analysis done again within a year to see if there's a positive change. So this is where I'm totally opposed to these high-tech tests that, with their godlike pronouncement, give this person an extra, 15 years of age. And, what is going to be their treatment that they're going to offer? Are they just going to leave this kind of total biology conflict in this person's brain that their telomeres are falling apart? So what you can all read freely is a study. It was, midwived by my friends, the Alturas, who wrote the, preface to my book, forward to my book. They're magnesium researchers. They've done over 1,000 studies over their careers, and their latest huge work, published 2014, is called Short-Term Magnesium Deficiency Downregulates Telomerase, Upregulates Neutral Sphingomyelinase, and induces oxidative DNA damage in cardiovascular tissues, relevant to atherogenesis, cardiovascular diseases, and aging. Now, they do this purposely. They put everything they possibly can in the title because they know that whatever they do will be attacked. So that says it all. But what you have to do is just Google short-term magnesium deficiency downregulates telomerase, and the lead authors, Shah, S-H-A-H. It was in the, maybe it's the International Journal of Clinical Experimental Medicine, but don't even worry about that. Just put S-H-A-H, short-term magnesium deficiency downregulates telomerase, and it's an awesome paper. You can read the whole paper. It's like an overview of magnesium research for the last decades. I write a big blurb about it in my Magnesium Miracle book. And yes, magnesium can help the state of your telomeres. I'll leave it at that. I just get very excited when I think about that paper. Another question. My integrative functional medicine internist recommended magnesium citrate tablets for me in 2011 to assist with anxiety and help with sleeping, as well as constipation, and also magnesium glycinate as needed. Do I need to take another kind of magnesium too? Now, they might have been just responding to how we're talking about Remag for the brain. And here's what I would say to this person, a female. It's an Amazon book review that I picked up the other day. And the person says, I happened onto this book, Magnesium Miracle, by accident, and first got the audio version at the library. 10.5 hours later, I was done, and I came to Amazon and bought the paper version for easy reference. Dr. Dean has a list of ailments that can be possibly helped with the use of magnesium. Now, we're not allowed to say that anymore, but I'm saying that these conditions are misdiagnosed and they're really magnesium deficiencies. So if you take magnesium, then you're treating your magnesium deficiency. And this person says about these ailments, I had quite a few, many lasting decades. I've been taking magnesium glycinate tablets, which were said to be a good version to take, but was getting no relief from my symptoms. When I ordered the book, it said many others had also purchased Remag liquid from Dr. Dean, so I purchased a bottle. I started slow, as the book suggested, and then after a week, I upped it to half a teaspoon a day. That is when things got remarkably better. I was drinking the diluted Remag in my water, then added 1/8 of a teaspoon in a shot glass with water and let it sit in my mouth for approximately 30 seconds, then swallowed it to absorb the magnesium sublingually. I didn't expect anything, but within 30 minutes, my knees, which had been throbbing for months, stopped hurting, like a switch being switched off. I couldn't believe it. I also have problems with tremors of the hand, and that improved also. Now I can put eyeliner on again. I'm sold on this product and will be ordering it again. So this is where we get people who will explain to us in such beautiful detail that, yes, they've tried other magnesiums and it didn't do a thing. Or it'll do something and they think, well, that's all it's going to do. And this is what we're saying about Remag, that you don't know what it's going to do for you until you try it. And we encourage you to try it. So that's the message. And further to us talking about our different webinars, and I mentioned something about Facebook, here's what's coming across to people who are very cynical about healthcare, whether allopathic or alternative. And in our fibromyalgia Facebook post, someone says, I'm sure it does help. I didn't say that it doesn't. I started magnesium myself a few years back and definitely made a difference, but it certainly didn't come close to curing fibro. I've never had a problem with yeast, and yes, I've been tested. Also, taking megadoses of other vitamins does help, but it's certainly not a cure. With my over 40 years of living with fibro, seeing every type of specialist, having every kind of test, taking every type of medication, participating in research studies, and spending thousands of hours researching fibro, I believe in my head and in my heart that at this time there's no cure. But there are certainly things that can help to alleviate some of the symptoms. It just always sounds like quackery to me when people claim to be able to cure fibro, as there certainly hasn't been any consensus as to what triggers it and what causes its symptoms. And another woman said, I absolutely believe that correcting magnesium and other mineral deficiencies, supporting thyroid and adrenals, and taking care of my yeast overgrowth can help. But I've been dealing with this for many years, and I've seen multiple alternative doctors, have done a ton of research myself, do not take the meds typically prescribed, and have addressed those of the issues mentioned above that apply to me, have also addressed others not mentioned. I'm still getting sicker and having more and more pain. So on Facebook, I replied, I said, I hear you, and I've been trying to treat fibro CFS for decades. I was in practice and watched CFS develop in my patients. I say magnesium/mineral deficiencies and yeast overgrowth lead to all the hormone and immune system imbalances. When I was doing CFS AIDS research in New York, everyone tested positive for all the viruses and yeast overgrowth because of immune system deficiency. It wasn't until I found an oral magnesium that you can take in high enough amounts that it's able to work on the enzyme systems in the body, the 700, 800, and it doesn't have the laxative effect. Same with my multiple mineral. It's 100% absorbed at the cellular level. And the minerals are really important because the soil is so depleted, we aren't getting what we need. I'd really like to know what you think about my free e-books that explain what I've observed over the years. Actually, if you don't mind an experiment, can you email me and I'll send you a bottle of my magnesium to get your opinion? And one of these ladies did. And also after I sent that, or I placed that, those words on Facebook, I clipped the review of the Magnesium Miracle, and showed how this particular person had been on, what was it, a citrate and a glycinate, and then tried the Remag, and then had beneficial symptoms, so beneficial effects. So, I mean, that's our dilemma. That's what we're trying to get across to people is, with you knowing more about, these two women knowing more about fibro than even the doctors you're seeing and having, as you say, tried everything. I mean, even with yeast, though, the tests aren't accurate. With minerals, the tests aren't accurate. What I realize is people will say, well, yeah, I was tested for yeast and I don't have it. But then the questionnaire is the real key to whether or not you've suffered damage to your gut before, if you have leaky gut and if you have yeast overgrowth symptoms. And, I just wish I could get to people to be able to have them understand that they have to do it all together. They have to do a yeast-free diet and the prescriptive probiotic and the complement formulas and just allow their body to heal. And then I say, after you've saturated with magnesium, and that's the most important one, and perhaps take the other Remite and detox with the Realign, take some RNA drops, then we'll see what's left over, and then maybe we can diagnose. But I don't know if the chat line is saying anything about what I'm talking about, or if I'm, just talking to myself here, Ginny. What do you
Carolyn,
think?
I want to say this. This resonates with what we started off at the top of the show. People can't believe there's someone who knows something they don't know. At 40 years of studying, I'm an expert, I know all this stuff. They have not encountered you in the way you require them to encounter you, which is to read the booklets and follow your instructions and ask you questions. Mm-hmm. They don't know that's available.
Yeah.
That's where you're the secret society.
Yeah. Okay, good. Over to Ginny. Thanks, Bob.
Let's see the comments that are coming through on the chat line. One of the things that Frank said was often the more people know about their own condition, the less they become open to a simple common sense resolution like Remag. And I agree in part with what Frank's saying, but also what Carolyn just said too, Frank, is it's not just Remag. It's Remag, it's Remite, it's Realign, it's Restructure, it's RNA drops, and it's a yeast, no sugar diet. So that is simple in the standpoint that it's very direct, it's straightforward, and it's all biologically accurate. But, it may not be simple for people who are overwhelmed with their pain and whose minds have really shut down. I mean, a lot of these people are just, God bless their hearts. And I'm amazed, Carolyn, why are all of them women?
Right.
Everybody on there's a woman. I mean, you don't see any men talking about this issue. And I think that's very bizarre. I mean...
Well, I tell you, I explain it. The electric environment favors the right hemisphere, regardless of what you think of brain research. Any idea can get a little backing. Nothing is the whole truth. So you got this model of the right and left hemisphere, and women have a natural, more right hemisphere inclination or skill. So the electric environment, as McClune pointed out, hoiks up the right hemisphere. This has been proven by scientific research as much as they could do. And therefore, women are turned on by this world. They're made open. They're made interested and curious. The man's left hemisphere is shut down. Men have been made. If we wanted to save men, we'd have to turn off the electric environment. But men aren't. They're paralyzed. And you see this expressed in sociological terms about kids, guys in high school, the whole dilemma. We were learning about MGTOW, these men who have given up trying to connect with women, young men. And so the thing is that men are handicapped under this situation. That's why I claim I'm a woman. I'm not handicapped because I understand what's going on. I did the research and luckily found the right people with the necessary data. But this is what we understand. Women are taken over because they actually feel comfortable in this new technological zombifying situation. See, that's what's going on here. But that's the best explanation you're going to get until Jesus shows up and corrects everything.
Very good, Bob. Thank you. Okay, that's excellent. All right, Carolyn, we've got a lot of callers, and we've got a lot of people who have questions on the chat line. So should we do some of those?
Yeah, let's do chat first. Grease the pump.
Okay, very good. Let me just say that if you're on the line or if you want to talk to Dr. Dean this night, you've got to call 602-666-6027. And if you're on the line waiting to talk to her, just hit *5 on your keypad, and I'll put you on the line with her in the order that your call came through to the studio. Lots of nice greetings from Jacques and from Nancy up in Portland and all kinds of other things. I wanted to say those words. And then also Leon's here listening with us. But I want to say, Carolyn, Judy typed in and said, my doctor would not do blood work because I stopped taking cholesterol medicine. Had too many side effects. He said it would only tell him that I hadn't been taking it. I told him I was taking Remag, and I also told him I thought I had a tiny Versatina, what's that, Versatina, on my legs. He took a look and
spell
said, no, Versatina. That must be a typo. I don't know what that is. He took a look and said, no.
Tinea versicolor? Tinea versicolor?
Well, she just said Versatina, but it could be Tinea versicolor.
Yeah. It's a fungus.
Okay. He looked at it and said, no, you just have old lady legs. Oh, my God.
No.
Oh, my God. And then she says, I love the lotion. Well, Judy, we love you, too. That's just absurd. Oh, my goodness.
Gosh.
There's some bedside manner for you. My gosh.
Yep.
Okay, now let's...
These are male doctors. Counted people on that 50 top alternative doctors. I bet you the majority of them are women, Carolyn. I don't know. I haven't counted, but these are male. Male doctors are stupider due to the electric stuff they buy for their kids. The digital environment is making your father, your wonderful doctor father, stupid. That's a fact.
Thank you, Bob.
And I say that with quite dispassionate indifference to whether you understand me or not.
You sound very passionate to me, Bob.
Well, I was a little concerned about your issue today.
Thank you.
Okay, here's a good question that came in from Golden Flake. Can restructure be used in a warm drink without losing its benefit as the weather gets colder? I'm wondering if I can make hot cocoa with restructure, and I just want to let you know that, yes, we have a lot of people who use restructure in their coffee as a coffee creamer, and also people who do already make restructure cocoa. So, yes, you're fine with all that. That's not a problem. And then let's see, our dear friend Deborah, this is a new friend, Carolyn. She said, I'm a first-time listener. I'm 18 minutes into the show. Can we put in a general request just to get started? I'm particularly interested in magnesium as it relates to non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. Thank you. Do you have any words on that?
Well, sorry, Deborah, the FDA won't let us talk about diseases. You know, all we're able to say is most of the population is deficient in magnesium, and it leads to, you know, some problems. But certainly when it comes to non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, I refer people to our total biology consultant to find out the conflict that makes your lymph and blood think that it's under attack, or it swells up to protect you. The body's not stupid, so when it looks like it's creating these diseases, usually it's a protective mechanism. So I encourage people to look at total biology, and our referral is Dr. Holt, David Holt. He's a medical doctor. He does telephone consults. So personally, I'd be looking at all the complement formulas and Dr. Holt.
Very good. Marcia in California corrected me. She said her husband is not a woman, Ginny, thank goodness. And he talks about Lyme and co-infections as well as fibro and all that. So thank you, Marcia, for letting me know. And also, Lana said, women go to the allopathic doctor more than men do, and that's why more women are talking about it. So that's what Lana thinks. And then Frank said, I hope when Jesus comes back, he heals us so we can eat sugar again. Frank, that's very funny.
I'm an example of that. Our products allow me to eat 8 quarts of ice cream in a week if I want to.
Okay, thank you, Bob.
No, really, I'm the poster child.
Bob.
I used to be sensitive to sugar. Not anymore, right?
Right. It's true.
I think magnesium deficiency fixed that up.
Treating magnesium deficiency.
Yeah, with the right products.
So what Lana said is totally right. When I've written about that, I don't know if it was a blog or an article or in a book, about why do women seem to be, have more chronic illness. Definitely that's one of the reasons we're medicated and diagnosed right from the moment, maybe it starts when we start having menses or want the birth control pill. Anytime you go in, childbirth, anytime you go in with your child, the doctor will take a look at you, and because they say, how are you? And you say something, well, I'm not sleeping, they give you a prescription. They've created another billing for themselves.
Now, Carolyn, this is where the theory works. Because the electric tactility scrambles both the right and left hemisphere, the right hemisphere person, like the Chinese who want to come west, and the Westerners want to go east or southern into ayahuasca or something, the woman, naturally right hemisphere, is now feeling, I can look into left hemisphere stuff. They don't know the inadequacy of left hemisphere approach to our situation. So that's why they fall for the charisma of the male doctor. They're attracted to the left hemisphere just on the simple level. A lot of women started going to university in the 70s and 80s. And they're now simulations of left hemisphere attitudes, which leads them to a lot of problems in their lives. But see, that's the attraction of the left hemisphere and why women listen to men. It's because the women are interested in what they aren't.
Okay, Bob.
This is a very important point,
profound
point.
Let's take that discussion over to your show on Saturdays and stop talking. You've had your time for today. Very much appreciated. But
how did I get away with so much time today? I mean, what, you're in a bad mood, you're in a good mood, or what? How come? You just wiped out?
You're upstairs, and I can't stop you.
Oh, yeah, you can't throw the towel at me.
Right. Okay, Ginny, what do we got?
Okay, and I also want to just say, Carolyn, that now, in the time that we have been chitty-chatting, you've been talking, I have gone through and totally summarized all of our webinars and have put them together in one handy-dandy email, which I'm about ready to send off to you. And then anybody who wants to email me at support@RNA Reset, I will send you the seminar and the date and the link for YouTube, so you can review them to your joy until the cows come home. So I just did that for you. Okay, very good. So if you want it, support at rnareset.com, and I will send them to you. Okay, TC in Houston typed in, Carolyn, I just ordered my first Remag. I have struggled with autoimmune, Sjogren's, mixed connective tissue, and positive ANA direct. What's that? I don't know.
Direct anti-nuclear antibodies.
Oh, okay, yeah. Several years ago, so she struggled with this. Declined to go to the rheumatologist.
You're breaking up. You're breaking
Is it better
up.
now?
Kind of. You were in a tunnel for a second.
Okay. Declined to go to the rheumatologist. I know what they have, and I don't want it. Juicing, smoothies, and semi-walls protocol, WAHLS protocol, has helped, but I'm still not well. Severe insomnia and fatigue. So far, I think I should start slowly with Remag, then add Remite. Then what?
Well, it's all laid out. I mean, because we don't treat disease specifically, and we basically just support the structure and function of the body. And because I say that, especially in autoimmune disease, the body attacking itself, it seems to be reacting to yeast toxins for the most part. And if you can treat yeast as well as treating mineral deficiencies with the Remag and Remite, and doing the detox with the Realign, and restructure for your protein and meal supplement. That's what we recommend for everybody. I think the only kind of individuation we do with our protocol is, just like you already said, is start really slowly, because when people are so toxic or so irritated in their body with their various deficiency symptoms and toxins, then if you start to treat yourself well and take a whole bunch of supplements, you can stir things up, and even feeling 10% different is going to make you think that you're getting worse. So it's mainly the protocols that we recommend for all the chronic diseases, and all our ebooks are on a separate website away from our product website, and it's the drcarolyndeanlive.com. So it's a matter of reading them, see where you fit in, and then I think personally I'd start with the Reset Your Yeast Connection, the Yeast Connection book. I think that would be a good overview.
And also, TC, if you email support at RNA Reset, I can send you the webinar link to our thyroid yeast overgrowth webinar in April, and I think that would also be very helpful for you. Yes, good. Carolyn?
Very good.
Okay. All right. Carolyn, you are going to be on Dr. Christiane Northrup's radio show tomorrow.
Oh, that's right. Yes, I have to get up. Well, I'm up anyway at 5 a.m., but it's 5 a.m. for me, and what would that be? 8 Pacific and 11 Eastern. Yeah,
10 a.m.
Sure
it's noon Eastern. Noon Eastern.
Oh.
9 a.m. Pacific.
So it's my 6 a.m.
Okay.
Oh, that's even better. You're sure about that? You sure about that, dear?
It's 6 hours difference.
Yeah.
I'm going to verify it right now, but I'm pretty darn sure that's
well,
what
that's
I
pretty
noticed.
Exciting. There's the big meeting of the minds we've been waiting for. The hidden society, secret society, Carolyn, versus the figure of the modern Illuminati, Miss Oprah supported Northrup. See, the meeting of these two have been meant to meet for years. This is going to be a pretty amazing scene. What's the date, Carolyn? October 24th?
Yeah.
That's a pretty good date.
No,
that's a big deal.
I'm sorry. I said tomorrow morning, Carolyn. I'm sorry. It is it's October 25th. That's Wednesday morning. I'm sorry. I said
that's a better
Wednesday.
date. That's Rick Ropey's birthday. Very important date.
And
October
is the
25th.
time and the time?
11 a.m. to 12 p.m. noon.
Yeah, so it's my 5 a.m.
You're at 5 a.m. Okay, 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. Eastern Time.
Is that live?
Yeah, and they take questions. What's her, is it an internet show? Where do people tune in?
It's Hay House Radio, and I do believe it is an internet show. And I do have the link here. I'm looking. Yes, it is on Hay House Radio. So you go to hayhouseradio.com and just Google Christiane Northrup. And I've also posted it on our Facebook. But again, just shoot me an email and I'll send you a link. Yep.
Ginny, when did she request that? How long ago?
Months ago, when she did the blurb for my book. She said, "Oh, we'll have to have you on the radio show." And I think it was going to be earlier, but I was away.
Right.
Correct. So that's very exciting, too. She's a lovely woman, and it's nice because she uses the products, as we know, and she's always willing to promote them and encourage other women and other people, and it's not just women, to use the products to their benefit. So I think that's going to be a wonderful show.
Mm-hmm.
Eventually, she will have to have Carolyn on regularly, because that's where she has to go. This is where Carolyn's where you go
Bob,
with new
stop.
knowledge.
Bob,
This is my opinion. Nothing to do with you.
I know, but save it for your own show.
No, nobody listens to my show.
Oh, there he is. That's the true reason.
There's the truth.
There's the truth
yeah.
coming out.
That's the only reason I'm here.
Listen, Deborah is asking the spelling of Dr. David Holt, Holt. Turnpointhealth.com, Deborah. All the information will be there. Turnpointhealth.com. And Todd typed in, what's wrong with Bob today? Has he had too much sugar or too many RNA drops?
No, I'll tell you exactly what it is. I'm reading Arthur Croker's new book, and he's had it wrong about McClune for decades. He's finally done a turnaround. This book came out in 2012. I'm just reading it now. And he's got McClune right, and he gives me a whole bunch of new words to say. We'll be doing it on my show. That's the reason. I've been empowered. I was right, and Croker was wrong, and that's why I'm happy today.
How'd it go, Bob? You brought us to the top of the hour. See you next hour.
Yeah.
Okay,
I'll try to tone them down. I'll try to tone them down, folks.
There you go. Okay, so we're happy to have everybody back for next hour live radio calls and more mailbag information for everyone. We'll be right back. This is Dr. Carolyn Dean live on AchieveRadio.com.
We'll be back with Hour 2 of Live with Dr. Carolyn Dean, along with host Ginny Gunther, after this brief station break. You can also get updates and resources online by visiting drcarolyndean.com.
Psychic radio, holistic radio, spiritual radio. This is AchieveRadio.com. Follow us on Twitter at twitter.com/AchieveRadio.
AchieveRadio.com.
What a beautiful day to be alive. My debt is paid and more money arrives. The fridge is full and there's plenty of ice for a fireside chat with anyone I like. What a beautiful day, good to be here when almost everyone has disappeared. When almost everyone is waiting in line, it's good to meet you in this world of mine.
Okay, excellent. Welcome back, everybody. Hour 2 live with Dr. Carolyn Dean here on AchieveRadio.com, and now we let the fun truly begin. Not that we haven't had fun yet, but it's always fun to listen to Dr. Dean interact with our callers. If you have a question or a comment for Dr. Dean, we'd love to hear from you this next hour. 602-666-6027 is the number to call. And then as you want to talk to Dr. Dean, you've got to hit *5 on your keypad. *5 will raise your hand in the studio and let me know you have a question or comment, and then we'll put you on the line with Dr. Dean, and away we go. So, Carolyn, I do see some waving hands. Let's get started if you are open to doing that. And
just a quick, Megan sent in a question from customer service, and I can handle this quickly. In our Reset the Yeast Connection, that's the ebook about yeast, Dr. Dean says that sometimes an antifungal is helpful. My score in the yeast test was 322, which is very high. How would someone know if it's helpful for them and which one? What would be the downsides of taking one? Thanks. Well, I try to explain it in the book. It sounds like this person didn't really, get the message. I'm going to have to look and make sure the book says what I think it says, that if you score as high as 322, then you should rotate the 3 antifungals that I talk about in the book. They're just herbs. You do take some extra garlic in your diet, and there are antifungal herbs that you can take in very small amounts and then rotate them so that your body doesn't get, quote, used to them. Basically, that's it. You are your own experiment in this, where, there are no tests to be taken to see whether or not it's going to work for you or whatever. These are, hopefully you'll get organic herbs, natural herbs that have this antifungal effect. But this is after you do a yeast-free diet and you're on the prescriptive cyst probiotic that you start introducing the herbal antifungals. So that's that question.
Okay, excellent. Thank you. All right. And let's just also ask this one question from Kay coming through the chat line. I'd like to start on your products. I'm on hypobioidentical prescription. My husband and I will be traveling abroad for a month. How would you suggest to travel with your liquid? Thank you.
Yeah, that's where the Remeg lotion is going to be helpful for people when they're traveling, because. But if you're going to do check bags, you can just put your 8-ounce bottle of Remeg in your check bags. I mean, that's very simple. I try to travel with carry-on, so I'm juggling these, 3.4-ounce bottles, or I'll send Remeg ahead of me. But just take some Remeg liquid, but take a lot of Remeg lotion. But actually, the lotion is a liquid as well, and it'll be nabbed if you try to do it in carry-on. I don't know, Ginny. I mean, do people complain that much that, when they do check bags, they just put their Remeg bottle in a plastic bag and take it, right?
Yes, and a lot of people transfer them to the actual travel bottles. Don't use our bottles because the caps are not that great. They can leak. But just use a travel bottle. Get a couple at CVS and throw a couple in your bag, and if you can have as many 3-ounce bottles as you want, so you'll be all right. It'll be okay. We all do it. Everybody, we have tons of traveling customers, and that's usually the way people do. My boyfriend travels a lot, and he mixes. He does his 2-to-1 ratio of Remeg and Remite, and he just puts it in one bottle.
Yeah,
so there's that other option too. But Kay, we're glad to have you start on the process.
Yeah, but remember, in our travel experience, I get sent back to the, I had to go to detention because the TSA, she was probably an ex-Marine or something, or former Marine, said I was carrying too many 3-ounce bottles, that there was a limit.
Oh,
that only happened.
Yeah, that's right.
That only happened in 1 out of 12 airports. So I think it's. But this we're talking about. That's when I was just doing carry-on. If you're doing check bags, then there's no limit to what you can carry. Okay.
Very good. Okay, let's see where we are. Oh, let's take some phone calls. Everybody ready? Ready to dive in with some telephonos?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And look who's here. Oh, our good friend Sandy. Hey, Sandy. There you go.
Hello.
You're on the line.
Thank you very much for talking to me. It's good to speak to you, Dr. Dean. I have done such a turnaround in what have been a little over a year. It was a year in June when I came across you, and I was in such bad condition from that reaction to stressed. I was a mess. I was having seizures. I'm doing so good. Life's back. The only thing is I have bursitis in my knee and in my hip. So I'm using the Remax lotion right on. I put on a little DMSO and then the Remax lotion. Trying to get rid of any trapped inflammation in the area would do it. I also know that bursitis is probably a little bit of calcium buildup somewhere. That's getting that purse a little build up, and the best thing for that is magnesium. And your recalcia is what the body would need. So I went to the naturopath, and the naturopath said, well, the Realign is enough. I want you to take these B vitamins, but stay on her magnesium and stuff. And I said, no. And he said, well, just try it. So, all right. Well, I tried it for a little while, and something about those multiples that he gave me just didn't sit well with my body. It made me hurt a little bit, too. So I went off of them, went back on my Realign, and I'm feeling great. So he says he wants to do blood work and all this to see if there's any toxins, what could be. And I know what's causing it. I took medication that my body reacted to. And I thought, well, gee, that's silly. So I called them up and canceled the appointment, told them I'll do it another time because I'm on Realign, and Realign gives me the gentle detox that I need. The only question now, I think you would agree that I'm on the right track. So the only question I have now is that he said that I was low in iodine and low in selenium. So I'm taking kelp, just the regular, like Wild Harvest. It's in a capsule, 600 milligrams of kelp, which gives you iodine. You'd get like 400 micrograms, I think, or something like that. And so I'm doing that. Now, selenium, I'm thinking I would probably be better off getting my selenium from Brazil nuts, and I'm thinking maybe 5 to 7, because you really don't want to go into taking,
the nuts will be helpful, but you're getting iodine and selenium in your Remite already.
Well, that's what I thought. So I was kind of surprised that he said that those two things I was low in. He said, you're very low in selenium. It could be that when I first started that year ago, when I was really bad, I was wiped out of everything. Because if you remember, I couldn't walk, I couldn't sit, I couldn't lay. I was in 24 hours of the most unbelievable pain. And I came around. I'm living pain-free now. Outside of, I have bursitis in my knee and my hips that bother me at night when I'm sleeping.
Right.
Outside of that, look done.
What you're seeing from this, Dr. Sandy, is they want to be right, and they want to be able to prescribe to you. They want to do more tests. They want to find more problems. And I don't know that iodine and selenium specifically are going to treat the bursitis. So, how much Remite are you taking?
Well, he said that my magnesium levels was up to 6, and that he said, how much are you taking? And at the time, I think I was taking 2 teaspoons. He said, we'll bring it down to what the regular amount is. And I said, well, she says 1 teaspoon. He said, we'll bring it down to that slowly. And I did do that because I'm taking the lotion, so I'm also getting extra from the lotion.
Oh, yeah, right.
So I didn't buy the
I don't really want to say these words, but I'm going to say these words. Don't listen
No
to
opinions
him.
between us. This is nothing.
He's telling you how to take products that he doesn't know about. And the thing is, if you
it was
have
that low, and you
want to be taking more Remag. You don't want to be taking less Remag. By now that magnesium, you even said, well, if the bursitis is calcification, you're going to need your Remag saturation to try to get rid of that calcification. So, he's just told you to do the wrong thing based on a blood test that I've said over and over again. It gives you a clue, but it's not as good as listening to your own body. your body still has pain, it may have calcification, you need the Remag.
Okay, so even though I'm using the lotion the way I am, and I'm really absorbing the lotion at night. I even put, like I said, a little DMSO on. Then I know that's getting in, and all day long I'm using it without the DMSO. And I'm drinking my 1 teaspoon of magnesium, and I went down to 1/4 of the Remade. So actually what I should do is go back to building it up, to go back to maybe 2 teaspoons of Remag, and I think at that point it was 1 or 1 1/4 of Remate. Am I correct?
Yeah, the Remite should be 1. What is it? 1.5, 3/4 twice a day. Because with the Remite, I don't want to hit people with high doses of any of those minerals. I want it to slowly build up. And you have to keep with the 1.5 teaspoons in order to slowly build up, including your selenium and iodine. We don't know for sure from, kelp pod to kelp pod how much iodine is in the various kelps. So that's why I don't really agree with kelp. And as for selenium, the absorption of selenium from nuts is much better than taking other products, except, the Remite is going to be 100% absorbed at the cellular level. That's why it's low dose, but you take it consistently. So I'm glad you called in, because you're listening. You're not even listening to yourself. So you've got to, remember what got you here, and not listen to blood tests or, he had you taking a B vitamin. Oh, this one's better. Well, look, what's better? The way you feel. It's better on a label. Are we buying the labels, or are we buying how we feel?
Well, and one thing I also found that when I showed it to him, he wasn't 100%, so I thought, well, let's do it your way for a little bit and let's see what happens. But I did not psychologically put myself against his vitamin, though I know it sounds like I did. I open-heartedly thought, oh, it's nice if I can take one that's a multiple, I'll just take my multiple. And I'm telling you, doesn't work. And I told him it doesn't work. I was right. I'm with the formula. Told you that's right. And he's okay. Well, if you feel that way, and I think that this is the best thing for anyone going through what I went through. And so hopefully it maybe a little education was doled out. But I just wasn't sure about the selenium thing. I was shocked when he said it was even low. That's a mineral you're not really. That's one that people aren't really.
Well, I mean, then again, was it was it one of these blood tests that he did, or a hair analysis?
No, it was a blood test. They took 14 vials of blood. He tested for all kinds of.
How much did it cost?
Oh, I don't know. I have insurance. It cost me $38, but it must have cost the insurance.
Wow. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I mean, I have to say that when you find something that works, stick with it. And my muscles are filling out. Now, I was one person that I have to tell everybody. The doctors literally looked at me and told me I had a chance I was going to be like that for the rest of my life. They didn't know if the seizures would stop, and I'd probably end up on medication, which I would not do the medication. I was in bad condition when Ginny, gave me that lifeline call, which was wonderful. And look at me I have met other people that had problems with the exact same medication. One woman ended up in the hospital with her stomach bleeding. And all of these people tell me how now they can't take any of the Cillins and they're on a fistful of medicine. And I tell them, you've got to listen. I talk about the show and what's there. I can't believe they're looking at me like, wow, you're a miracle, because I don't have seizures. The only thing is the medicine left me with this bursitis, and I'm going to have to deal with that. But I think if I stay on the protocol, there's a chance it might go away and I won't have bursitis anymore. The protein powder,
Yeah, stay on the protocol, and you know, I don't know I don't think you've lost ground or anything by cutting back, but you know, you just can't cut back. And yes, the Remag lotion is going to give you some, but it's 200 milligrams per teaspoon. It's not the 300, so it is less. And I don't know if you're, you know, how much you're putting on, but you can try to gauge that.
Oh, I'm probably using a good, maybe close, at the end of the day, I've probably gone through 3 tablespoons.
Oh, my gosh. Wow, that's a fair bit. Tablespoons.
Well, that's when it was all swollen, but you should see it now. It's all gone down. I can bend it. The only time it's bothering me now is at night when I'm sleeping. I mean, if you looked at my knee right now, you wouldn't even know it was swollen. And I've seen people have a problem where they had to go in there and suck out the fluid and stuff. And look what this has done. So now I'm using less. At the point, I brought it down now. But you should see how great what a job it did. Oh, and I had sinuses bother me, and I put some of the Remag lotion along with some of the regular Remag and a little bit of the Remate, mixed it all together and put it around where my sinuses were. It worked like a charm. I haven't had a headache since. It cleaned it right out. It was great, and my skin felt better. I mean, it really worked. I'm filling in and everything.
Thank you very much. That's great, Sandy. Very good.
Yeah, you really got to stay on the whole protocol. Thank you for answering my question. I will get the nuts, the Brazil nuts. I guess I'll go for 5 a day. As long as I eat 5 a day, I'll probably be getting more than enough from food source that way.
Along with your Remite. Yeah, perfect.
Great testimonial, Sandy. Ginny, when people call support, they should hear like the last minute of Sandy should be on every call that they call they call your headquarters there. It's a great testimonial.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the excitement that people are feeling that she's expressing.
Well, you know, it's slow. You're working with you're giving your body what your body needs to survive, not just to make it off one day after another, but to be happy surviving. You had those RNA drops, and oh my goodness, I'm not in any slump over it. I actually had to back off on the RNA drops. They gave me so much energy. People talk about how they fatigue, you know. Get the fatigue. I don't know what you're talking about. I take RNA drops. I actually down. There's no fatigue in RNA world.
I don't know what fatigue is, but they look at you like you're a stranger, and then they don't do anything about it. They can't register it.
Right.
I have a picture of my, I was my blonde, and my eyes were all black and everything. And today, people are telling me, you look so much younger. You look great. Your coloring's improved.
There you go, Ginny. That's why you're working for me, Ginny. This is what we're talking about.
This is what we're talking about. Okay, Sandy, we're moving on. Thank you so much. Great questions and testimonials all over the place.
Okay, thank you very much for talking to me, and I will not be buying any extra selenium from the doctor or anyone else. I'm just saying
or anyone
That's
else.
Right.
Okay, great. Thanks, Sandy. Bye-bye.
Bye. The best to you all. Bye-bye.
Yeah, Sandy's fantastic, and one of the things also that's really neat about her is that her newfound energy and love of life has given her the inspiration to go back to doing something that she's always loved to do, which is baking. And she's the one, Bob, who's made us all the different cookie combination recipes and, restructure fat-free cookies and everything. She's been a real trooper. It's been a joy to have her as a customer. So, yes. Absolutely. I could say something else, but I won't. Okay, now, let's go to area code 973. You're on the line with Dr. Dean. If you could give us your name and then state your question or comment this evening.
Hello?
Yes, you're on.
Hi. Hi. This is Roz McAndrews, and Sandy's a hard act to follow. But I just got some results back on a bone scan, and I've been taking the Remag 2 teaspoons a day for the past 8 months, and I just got the Remag lotion. I take the Recalcia, the Remite, Restructure, Realign, RNA drops. But I've had osteopenia back in, I guess, in the 90s, and osteoporosis 2002, and it's progressively gotten worse. I didn't go for a scan for the past 4 years because I was just tired of hearing that I have this. Anyway, it came back, and it says it's significantly, less now. So my question is, should I increase the Remag and the Recalcia? I don't know what else to do. Exercise.
I don't know. I don't understand. What is significantly less?
Bone density. It's decreased significantly.
Right. Okay, the bone density. Are you able to exercise, or had you been exercising?
Oh, yeah. I'm fine. I'm very healthy. I exercise 3 or 4 times a week. I do, the weight machines. I go on the treadmill. I take the vitamin D, the K, the Blue Ice Royal.
How much vitamin D are you taking?
Well, I was taking 2,000, and then I started taking, once I started your protocol, I started taking it every other day. I was kind of thinking of using it up. But now it's in the Blue Ice Royal, although they don't give you an amount.
That's right.
So I don't know how much I'm going to get. Also, I just finished my K2. That's also in the Blue Ice Royal. Again, I don't know how much I'm getting in that.
Right. So you had the previous scan 4 years ago, and you had this one. You've been on the product about 8 months, so we really don't know if it's helping, or if you need more, or if it would have been worse, heaven forbid. But I mean, the whole thing with bone scans, it's so, was it the DEXA scan? What did they scan?
I'm looking at the report. It doesn't say DEXA scan, but I think it was. It just says my left hip is minus 2.8, the T-score, and left arm minus 0.5, and they also have a Z-score, if that matters.
0.5.
That was the left arm.
Because the thing about the bones, and it's so individual, I can only generalize that the bones are going to be thinner. And what we hope for is making our muscles and ligaments and all the supporting structures as strong as possible as our bones do get a little thinner. So it's this trade-off that doctors don't really look at the, ligaments, collagen, all that. They just look at the bones and think that's all there is. But every one of us is going to have thinner bones. And, what's so frustrating for me is the scans, they seem to compare, us older ladies with younger bones. It's like, well, we want you to have the bones of a 30-year-old, and you don't, and this is how much you're off.
Okay.
They're not really comparing healthy 50, 60-year-old bones and saying, well, you can be healthy. I mean, I'm not that accident prone, but I do fall periodically, and knock on wood, I don't break anything. So it's but I don't get scans, so I don't bother knowing.
Yeah, I didn't want to scan, and then I just said, just for the heck of it, because my doctor just, she was on my case. She wanted me, years ago when I had the osteopenia, they wanted me to take the medication, and I always refused, and I still refused. And so I really wasn't going to go for the scan. I said, well, I'll just go just to see if the Remag and the Recalcia we're doing anything, but maybe 8 months is not long enough. I had written into you, I had emailed quite when I first started, because of the osteopenia and osteoporosis, the doctor had me on very high calcium and was taking a tablet. It was like 1,500 milligrams.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
And it was a tablet, and it had the magnesium in it, but, the way you tell it, it's not really absorbed, maybe 4%.
Right.
Well, so there was an imbalance.
Yeah, I think we're, what we know from people who just give us their comments is we are having women who will say, well, my bone density improved, and I've seen improvements, people doing diet and exercise and the formulas, and as you're doing the whole picture. I guess I'd personally keep doing what you're doing, but since you're working on the bones, I mean, you might, like Sandy does, add a teaspoon or two of the Remag lotion to your
I do. I put it on at night, and I probably put on a couple of tablespoons because I'm putting it on my arms, my legs. I even put it on my face, my neck. So I'm using a lot of that. So
well, that's good then. So you'll do that, and maybe continue your exercise and do your stretching, do your yoga, and your walking, and maybe in 2
and don't
years,
worry about
do another scan. Yeah, and then you'll see that it's improved. I mean, how can it not improve?
There was one I was. Can I interrupt a minute? I was reading online, and something was mentioned about your pH. Whether if you're having too much acidity in your diet, that affects your bones. Is that true?
Well, it is, but I never really was convinced about, doing the urine pH and trying to check all that out. I just tell people to eat a lot of vegetables, and they'll be nicely alkaline. So I don't really follow that or subscribe to following your pH. But people who do follow their pH, they say, if I don't eat a big salad every day, my pH does get more acidic. I mean, that's all you have to know.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I eat a good diet. I take good care of myself. I'm 66 years old. I think I'm in great shape, and I'm not going to worry. I'm just following your protocol, and I'm happy.
Yeah, that's a thing. And, it's like talking people down after they've been to the doctor because they have a certain, even the naturopaths, like Sandy was saying, oh, well, I've got something better for you. And anyway, and with the osteoporosis network, they don't know about the muscles and the flexibility of the body and the flexibility of how magnesium is going to help the bones. If they're looking at bone density, does that mean they're just looking at the calcium? But, what the magnesium is supposed to do is put the calcium in, more densely. So, yes, your bone density should be increasing, and I'm sure it will, over the next couple of years.
Yeah, okay. Like I said, since I've been listening to you, I'm a happy camper and taking your products. So thank you very much for taking my call.
Well, thank you, and it's a perfect call. It's very important. A lot of women are going through this, and I've seen it. I think I wrote in Magnesium Miracle book how a friend of mine, an intrepid world traveler, she could go anywhere, do anything, and then she was told about her bone density test, and she just collapsed. When we get these tests, and then doctors just make you feel like you're getting old and decrepit. Whereas, if after a time, just do some research and find out, well, what are they comparing my hip bone to? If they're trying to say that, I'm not as young as a 30-year-old bone, then what else is new? I mean, that's just common sense.
Yeah.
So, and I'll have to see. there are some doctors. Bob, would you mind closing the windows? There's some doctors who really critique a lot of these, what do they call them? They call them preventive measurement testing, like doing screening for osteoporosis is supposed to help you prevent the disease, but they don't have any solutions except for high-dose calcium and then these drugs. But what are the downsides of doing this screening? Yeah, that's what they are. They're screening tools.
Mm-hmm.
So if they're doing the screening, are they helping people actually prevent osteoporosis, or are they just, worrying people and make them take drugs that cause more side effects?
Yeah. Yeah, and isn't the body, it heals itself.
Yeah.
We don't reach a certain age and everything falls apart if you take good care of yourself, which I am doing. And so, okay, I'm not going to worry about it, and I'm not going to take any more of your time. Thank you so much.
Thank you for calling. It was a great call.
Okay, bye-bye.
No,
Thank
is it Rose or Rosa?
Roz.
Roz. Roz. Okay. Okay, Roz, thank you. Bye-bye.
Okay, bye-bye.
Very good. Live with Dr. Carolyn Dean here on achieveradio.com. Great callers this evening and providing very important information to those who are listening to the show. If you've got a question or comment for Dr. Dean tonight, the number is 602-666-6027. And if you're on the line and you want to talk to Dr. Dean, you've got to hit *5 on your keypad. *5 is going to raise your hand in the studio and let me know you have a question or comment. Otherwise, you just hang on hold, and then nobody ever calls on you because I don't know you have a question. If you think you've raised your hand and I'm still not calling on you, you may have to go to the chat line and type in and say, Jenny, I'm here on the line and you're not calling on me, because we've got lots of new callers tonight. And usually when we get new callers, they want to talk to Dr. Dean, but I'm not seeing any raised hands. So give yourselves a second to either hit *5 or communicate with me through the chat room. Now, Carolyn, Pat is typing in, and she says, if my husband has very low blood pressure but is having cognitive issues, I'm sure he needs magnesium. How much and what kind would you suggest? And then she follows up and says, I give my husband Calm now. He has constipation frequently, and this is what the functional medicine doctor said to take. I said should he be taking any other kind because of his condition, which is, I believe, the cognitive issues.
Right, yes, because our blog today was about the brain. Now, when people have low blood pressure, there's something, what we call it, an underactive autonomic nervous system can cause this low blood pressure. And it's definitely in the magnesium deficiency bucket. So magnesium deficiency can cause an underactive autonomic nervous system, leading to low blood pressure and poor circulatory system performance. Some people think magnesium will lower their blood pressure further. However, by slowly increasing magnesium, it will treat the underlying problem and improve the blood pressure. So the thing of it is, if you're taking Calm as a laxative for the constipation, then you're not getting the absorption that you really want, for the brain and for the blood vessels and to improve the blood pressure. Magnesium, we do talk about it more for helping with high blood pressure, but it balances the blood pressure. It's not a drug that, either puts the blood pressure up or down. It just balances it. And as for the type, if you want 100% absorbed magnesium, that's our Remag. And you've heard through the show many times now that people will use different magnesiums and not get the same benefit. As for the amount, it's the basic amount that we tell everybody, just to start slowly with a quarter teaspoon. The therapeutic amounts are more 2 to 3 teaspoons. And, after a time, it took me a year and a half or so before I was down to my 1 teaspoon, 300 milligrams, but now I'm doing lots of Remag lotion as well. So all this information is in the free ebooks, and I don't think we haven't done a webinar on the heart yet, have we? That'd be interesting, but it might be too much as if we're talking about disease. So hopefully that's enough information there to get started on.
Very good. Excellent. 602-666-6027 is the number to call this evening. Hit *5 on your keypad if you want to talk to Dr. Dean. No callers right now, Carolyn. What would you like to do?
I have a lot of words here that I can say. Okay. Testimonial. I just want to thank you for all the work you have done to make products that are helpful and to explain how to use them. That was wonderfully sweet. We had responses about our high-intensity exercise webinar Facebook page. And this person says, I used to work out hard, all in caps, with a personal trainer. It was functional fitness, similar to CrossFit. I also used to get the most excruciating severe cramps in my upper thighs and groin, where I thought I was going to die from the pain, and I would just scream in agony. I had my electrolyte levels drawn and even had vascular ultrasound done to check my vessels, and everything was normal, but it was not normal. I'm convinced now that kind of intense exercise was just not good for me, and it's better to exercise moderately, not with intensity. Walking, hiking, swimming, moderate weight training. I've also had a history of adrenal fatigue, low adrenal function, so I have to be sure that what I'm doing is not depleting my energy stores. So, there's someone, these types of cramps, definitely magnesium deficiency. The blogs I did this past week, there was one called Theories Don't Heal. Someone says, loved it, lived it, and now living the magnesium way. Someone else says, your comments were excellent. This is about the Theories Don't Heal. Unfortunately, as my dear childhood into adulthood chiropractor would say, most people do not have the numbers upstairs to be able to reason it out for themselves. I subscribe to your 2-year course. That's my completement now because of your credentials and track record. It did not disappoint. We all must be as proactive as possible regarding our own well-being. Discernment and critical thinking are the order of the day in which we have the World Wide Web at our fingertips. It has got to be so frustrating to deal with these experts who are anything but. Thank you for being true to your convictions. Your contributions have made the world a better place. Now let's see. I didn't tell people what that, the words. Let me go to my website and look up Theories Don't Heal. That was, I've been debating for weeks whether or not to write this blog. I've been around the health scene since before health food stores came to town. Now there are 55,000. 2005, when I realized Codex Alimentarius was trying to regiment all dietary supplements into low-potency synthetics, I decided to promote food-based vitamins and highly absorbed minerals. And I explained how I got into developing Remag because no one else would. And then, I talk about I'm not wholesaling these particular products, so there's not a lot of practitioner support for what I'm doing. And so, I was hesitant about writing this blog because I don't like putting down alternative medicine doctors, but what we get is people writing about ineffective products. A blog on Eat, Move, Hack outlined a recommended supplement list by a PhD theoretical researcher whose opinions are being sought out in the health and supplement world and who's prominent enough to be asked her opinion on what supplements people should take. At the end of her list, the blogger commented, "So that's quite a lengthy list of supplements. And the somewhat frustrating thing is, if you purchase them and take them, you may not notice any difference in how you feel. And, of course, I write, duh. You're being advised by some, supposed expert to take supplements that theoretically may help you, but you should know you may not notice any difference in how you feel. How foolish is that? Don't you take supplements in order to feel better? That means you're being asked to take these supplements on faith. Isn't science supposed to stop this whole taking things on faith business? Even worse, the list she recommends includes calcium-magnesium combination with 2 parts calcium to 1 part magnesium, perpetuating that myth and perpetuating the calcification of the population. This recommendation comes in spite of 10 years of scientific research that shows taking calcium supplements increase heart disease in women. The same theoretical researcher was interviewed by Mercola about the recently discovered link between vitamin D and autism. Nowhere in the interview is the reader cautioned about the absolute need for magnesium if you're going to supplement with vitamin D. It can be quite seductive to hear about the latest research and the latest theories, but when they are taken out of context, they serve to confuse the public about how they should engage this new information. For example, research on NFR2. It's a leucine protein that regulates antioxidant proteins. It gained popularity, and immediately NFR2 supplements came out on the market. Since then, the research has been split right down the middle between it helping or harming with no way of knowing what it's going to do for you. Theories are great and very seductive, but when they are presented by people who are not trained clinicians, they tend to favor the data, not the human individual. And believe me, the human individual can be overwhelmed by the sheer amount of negative data or the sheer number of supplements they should take, make it seem an insurmountable chore for them to get well. So that was my rant about all this, this research. I didn't even know that there was a public telomerase enzyme test where it could tell you that you're older than you think. And, I go on about the DNA testing and everything, telling you your top 100 gene mutations. So that's part of the problem is the supplement industry is so huge. Money is going into testing these new products and new theories just so we can have new formulas and try to entice people to buy them, whereas people just keep ignoring the basics or the basic fact that there is a non-laxative magnesium where you can saturate yourself and benefit. So I'm going to go over to Ginny and see what she has.
Yes, we do have phone callers that have come through. I knew they were wanting to talk with you. I just kept staring at their phone numbers thinking, raise your hand, but we got it. Okay, also, Pat said, Ginny, thank you, and Carolyn for answering my question. She was asking about the Remag for her husband with cognition issues. Can you tell me what the number to this show is so I can listen again? Yes, it's 602-666-6027, and this is achieveradio.com. Okay, let's go out to Arizona, area code 480. You're on the line with Dr. Dean this evening. If you could give us your name and then state your question or comment.
Hi, my name is Kay. And my question, hi, I had put in the chat before about traveling with the magnesium liquid, and so I'm wanting to get on your product, but this is my situation. I'm 64, and I had a myriad of supplements, as you're just talking about. I'm very health conscious, although we go out for dinner a lot and can't control the non-GMO or the GMO foods. But I wonder if I were, I've got this drawer full of supplements. I get tired of swallowing 20 of them. So does my husband. So I'm wondering if I should wean off of those and go in your protocol. Would that be sufficient in and itself is what I'm kind of understanding. Is I don't have to supplement with.
Right, that's what we say, Kay, but tell me, when are you starting your trip? Because you don't want to start a whole new deal just before you travel.
Well, we'll be leaving in January 1st.
Oh, okay. So you have 2 months. Well, yeah, you could follow what we say on a blog I have. It's called Dr. Dean Supplement Recommendations. It sort of goes over what I personally take and what I think is beneficial and how helpful it is to get, well-absorbed magnesium, and as Sandy said, good B vitamins and good detox in the real line. And what I would do is just sort of slowly wean off what I'm taking as you're building up the Remag and Remite. You slowly wean off, or you finish up the bottles you're on and just don't purchase more. And as you stop something, if you feel the lack of it, then think about taking it again. But, most people will say, well, gosh, as soon as I started taking Remag, I feel so much better, and I didn't even notice, not taking the others. It's quite interesting because we're taking these supplements for the most part just out of fear of being deficient.
Right. And that's my concern, is that my husband is 78, I'm 14 years younger, and I feel as though I want to not wait until I get sick, but maintain this level of health that I have. So I keep thinking, well, all right, it can't hurt. It's kind of like my health insurance in a bottle. And even though I get tired of it, to me it was like, okay, we need krill oil, or we need berberine, or I need zinc, and so I just kind of chase all this stuff as I read about it. And and I've been making smoothies since the 70s, so I've always that's kind of my breakfast go-to, So
well, what you do is, even in the archives, Kay, just type in supplements, or what word, Ginny, would work to find out how I've talked about this in the past, and read that blog and read some of my information, because, as you've said, most of what you're taking is just, in case. It's insurance. It's right. And it doesn't necessarily make you feel any particular way, but in the 2 months, you and your husband will have a chance, as you build up the Remag and Remite, to see that it makes you feel different. It really does help with all the enzymes in the body, with the energy, with the sleep, with all the basics. And even if you are taking some magnesium now, the chances are that most of them are either 4 to 20% absorbed instead of 100% absorbed. So nobody's really getting properly saturated. So just read some more information, or talk to one of the customer service and see what you feel. If intuitively you think, okay, maybe I'll try this. And like I said, do not just throw everything out and say, okay, now I'm going to start this other protocol. Just, when the bottle is empty, throw it out.
Okay. Wonderful. I appreciate that. That's great. Thank you so much. Thanks for taking my call.
You're welcome. You're welcome, Kay. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Okay, excellent. Going on to the great state of Michigan, Marquette, area code 906. You're on the line with Dr. Dean. If you could give us your name and then state your question or comment.
Dr. Dean, good evening from the Upper Peninsula of Michigan. I'm Brad Arnsparger. I'm a 60-year-old non-smoker, non-alcohol guy. Long about 2006, I was diagnosed with hypertrophic obstructive cardiomyopathy, but it was asymptomatic. It was something I was just heard and found with an ultrasound. Long story short, my cardiologist said, press on with life, don't change a thing, and we'll just sit back and watch any kind of symptoms that come along. Along about 2012, I started down the AFib route, which is a very commonality issue with HOCM, hypertrophic cardiomyopathy. And I've had about 13 episodes over the years since beginning in 2012. And now I see about 2 years ago, I was put on a beta blocker, metoprolol, which is common for rate control. And also, that's been switched to verapamil now, which is a channel blocker versus a beta blocker. The cardio electrophysiologist, the guy that basically looks at the electrical side of the heart, informed me that, hey, he wants to put me on a blood thinner. I went back and forth about 2 years ago with this, or rather, and I did give in to the advice, and I have been on Eliquis, 5 milligrams a day for about a year and a half now. I haven't had any problems with that. However, the non-persistent AFib, it hasn't become persistent, that is all the time, but it is still with me. And over my last 2 issues of AFib, which is correctable with medication and or self-correcting, he suggested a cardio ablation. And I've read lots about that. For your viewers here, just they pierce the artery in the leg and go up with a small thin wire, get to the sinus node, and basically arc weld those, the bad sinus node or nerve coming off of that and back out. It's a relatively simple procedure, but it's going inside your heart, and I fear that. I'm a big guy. I go to the gym 4 days a week. I take care of myself. I eat right. And particularly, I'm health conscious through this hypertrophic cardiomyopathy. But I'd like an alternate mode to take a look at my AFib and address it properly. I take, right now, just so you know, I take vitamin D, about 2,000 milligrams a day. I take vitamin C, vitamin B12, and CoQ10, 100 milligrams a day, and also magnesium taurate at 400 milligrams a day, and I take that twice a day. That's where I'm at, but obviously the AFib is still with me, and I'm seeking your recommendation for all of us AFibers that are out there because it's super common in people.
I know, it is getting so common. Well, is it Brad? Did I get that right at the beginning?
It is, Brad.
I've written a book about the magnesium deficiency of AFib. I forget what the book's called, but I do lay it all out. This is before the FDA told me that I couldn't be telling people that they could treat health conditions with magnesium, but at the same level of interaction, I've gotten awards from heart arrhythmia societies about my work with telling people about magnesium. So some people really know that a certain percentage of AFib people, they have AFib because of magnesium deficiency. Now with cardiomyopathy, it can be a bit different because there's a stretch on that area of the heart where the heart rhythm kicks off. It is anatomically shifted, and I don't know if the ablation that's the trouble with ablation. You don't know if it's going to cure it because it can't cure your cardiomyopathy.
About a 50% success rate on the ablation is what, with the cardio ablation wire.
Right. And, what I've always said to anybody who'll listen is, well, what if there is a magnesium deficiency? Wouldn't you want to treat that first? And you are taking magnesium, but the taurate is only, that's like 10-15% absorbed. So you are only getting about 100 milligrams of magnesium. So, basically, the people that seem to have success with their AFib and magnesium are using the Remag and, following my protocol for magnesium deficiency AFib. Ginny can send you the book if you email her at support@rnareset.com, so you can read what I've written about it and the testimonials of people who've gone through the protocol and been helped by it. There's no guarantee, but it's something I say to people before you go in for surgery or even a lot of the drugs. You could be looking at the right type of magnesium. So that's what I say.
Okay, very good. Well, I appreciate your time a lot tonight, and we'll bid you a good evening from Michigan.
Well, thanks, Brad, and keep in touch because it's an interesting situation you find yourself in. Really healthy, but your heart did this. Now, is it cardiomyopathy? Is that part of magnesium deficiency? I don't know. It's possible, and I would like to know more about that. So I do want you to keep in touch.
On that note of magnesium deficiency, what would a 60-year-old male expect to have in terms? What's a healthy level for me to have of magnesium within my body?
Brad, I'm going to have to cut you off because we're 30 seconds to the top of the hour, but shoot us an email at support@RNA Reset, and I'll get your question to Carolyn Dean, and you can continue your dialogue through email. Thanks, everybody, for a great show. Carolyn, it was excellent.
Yes. Yeah, thank you, Jenny. Thank you, Bob.
Thank you, everybody.
You,
and Brad, Reed, there's a message for you from me on the chat line. Okay,
very
thank you,
good.
Ginny. Very
Thanks,
good, Ginny.
Everybody. Thank you.
Great show. They got away with it.
You've been listening to Live with Dr. Carolyn Dean here on AchieveRadio.com. Till next time, so long, and thanks for all the fish.
AchieveRadio.com.
All they're saying is that you got to get back to the only thing that ever worked anyway. And if you want to call that very simply, no dogma included, relax and allow and let it unfold, because that's what's happening anyway. Be easy about all this.